Hi, everybody, and welcome to the You Cruise session tonight here of Star Trek Iskandar. We are the crew and players of the USS Iskandar who run in a round robin style, taking turns as who's going to be the GM for what episode. This episode, So Shall You Reap, of which this is part 4, is run by me, Kath, inflicting Klingons upon these poor bastards. First, I would like to apologize for the fact that last week we came back after the break. We had about one or two scenes, and then we had to take a break because of technical difficulties, at which point we discovered it was not possible for us to come back as those technical difficulties persisted. So I apologize that we just abandoned you cold and
We fucked off. We just went drinking.
We got bored, just went out and had some brewskis. So yeah, however, that only encourages me to give you a better set of previouslys, and also so that everyone knows what the hell is going on. So, the crew of the USS Iskandar, or the Iskandar herself, has been dispatched to the Klingon border world of Hatoria, an agriculturally significant planet near Federation space. They've been sent there by request of the planet's ruler, the Lady Ratek, head of the House of Ratek herself, because their world has been afflicted by a mysterious blight which is destroying the major crops. The major crop of the area, and the entire planet has had to be put on lockdown because why should fantasy not imitate reality sometimes? I miss the outside. The crew has splintered immediately in resolving the situation into 3 discrete teams. First is even least is the bulk of the crew are working on the relief efforts, as whilst the lockdown on Hatoria has not lasted so long that the world is really suffering or feeling like they've done more than tighten their belt. People still have supplies and storage, of course. There's a bit of tension in the air, and thus Chief of Security Lieutenant Zal and Dr. Burov have set up a relief center down at the planetary capital, the largest settlement, in order to make sure that the use of Starfleet replicators can make sure everyone has the supplies they need and everyone has the medical attention that they need. Meanwhile, Chief Science Officer Lieutenant Casey, with ably assisted by Ensign Sammy Strange, not Sammy Strange, Jesus Christ, no, they're the same person. They are the same person. I just wanted to alliterate because Sam Strange would be a very good name. Adam, his name is Adam. Adam Strange. They are, well, really, Casey is, and Strange is helping, trying to deal with the mysterious Tuchnon blight, which has been identified as being a fungal, a very horrific fungal spore infection, which has been afflicting all of the crops across the planet as well. Most of them has spread very quickly, and they are still trying to identify exactly what it is, where it's come from, and how they are going to stop this from wrecking an entire year's worth of harvest and potentially causing immeasurable amounts of long-term damage. Could be bad. They are assisted in this, or arguably they are assisting, depending on who you ask, the young Klingon Luth, who is the youngest son of the Lady Ratek, and a able scientist who is every bit as bitter as one would expect a Klingon scientist to be. Meanwhile, thinking that they were just dealing with the politics and the smoothing things over with the House of Ratek, Commander Talandra and Lieutenant Kantos were both approached by the Lady Ratek, who has expressed that she has a bit of a problem, seeing as her eldest son died in an accident a couple of years ago, and the rest of her children are completely fucking useless. She would like their assistance and has named Talandra as Arbiter of Succession and Lieutenant Kantos as her second, to conduct traditional Klingon rites and rituals and reach a decision of the 3 offspring of Ratek should inherit upon Ratek's death. The problem is that their choices are the now eldest, Kavek, a famed and capable warrior who might have maybe done some war crimes in the Dominion War. She might have blown up Cardassian ships once they had been disabled rather than take prisoners, which she'd argue, how are you going to take prisoners on a bird of prey which has a crew of 12? But guess her answer was blow them up anyway. But that's a maybe. I don't think that you've particularly got Kvek's side of the story on this. You did get this story from the the middle of the surviving Judim, who appears to be a good guy for a good lot of fun, a swell dude who may or may not just be constantly full of shit and tall tales of the party son. And the youngest, of course, the aforementioned Luth. So trying to figure out what the dealio is with all of these children of Ratek is the job for Commander Palandra and Lieutenant Kantos. Okay, so we'll dive into it as we will pick up from where from whence we left off, which is not how it would go, but I wanted to say whence. And for Lieutenant Zal had just offered his support to the Marshal of the House of Ratek, Sihar, who was responding to a report of a disturbance in the first point, this major settlement, and found a pair of Klingon peasant families having a fight because the idea was that someone was accused of withholding fuel, which was necessary. Generally, people are on edge. They're Klingons. They kicked off. However, Sihar responded to this by identifying the ringleader of those who had started the fight and beating him quite brutally in the street. An act in which she did not appear to take any particular malicious relish or satisfaction, but has very firmly expressed that this is a necessary way for her, as the representative of the House of Ratek, to enforce discipline and law, as the Klingon peasant Kinnek has, by starting a fight, disobeyed the rule of the House of Ratek. Zal has been thanked for his presence and assistance in restoring this, but Sihar is setting about on her patrols to make sure that the force of the House of Ratek is visible. And Zal has set about, he's been heading back to the relief station. Yes, thanks for his complicity.
Yes.
In oppression. So yes, Zal, you can head back to the relief station. See a little wall off palisade area, your security manning the gates. Already what's happened has started to sort of reach a little bit of a hubbub through the smashing of Klingons. And again, you're not getting a lot of traffic, you're getting a mixture of curiosity, and Klingons are starting to realise, hey, we can get stuff out of Starfleet if we come here. But they're not. It's people aren't desperate yet, it's relatively quiet. But you can return to the relief station. Kowalski is still heading up the situation at the industrial replicators, and Burov is in the little medical shelter.
We'll head towards Burov.
Yeah, you want a break, Burov? Just go for it.
Hey.
Come in. Hello. Hi. Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Oh, no, you look sad. Or sleepy. Sad.
Let's go for conflicted. I've just seen Sihar have to...
Come. Sit up on the bench and tell the doctor all about it.
Do so. Sit down. Like, he does a lot of... He sits and there's like a lot of slumping forwards, which is more to get his eye line more level to Arcades. I've just seen Sihar have to deal with some violence from some of the peasantry.
No, you okay?
I'm fine. The peasants, on the other hand, the ringleader was... I don't like the term peasants. The ringleader was beaten soundly for his insubordination, and a few more times to make the point firmer.
Oh, well, bring him in. I'm okay to take a look at him now.
I did ask as to the appropriateness of offering the Klingon medical aid. and I was informed that were he to be treated and to be seen with full autonomy and use of his arm, so soon after a public beating, it would be seen as a sign of cultural weakness. Therein lies my conflict.
Hmm. Hmm.
I don't know if I should have stepped in and tried to enforce the Starfleet way of thinking upon it. I deem that would be inappropriate, given that the people were having to deal with a situation beyond their control. The last thing they need is a sense of disorder from what is familiar. I just wonder how suitable familiarity and tradition is at the moment.
Well, we were told that we were not to be imperialist about our opinions. We don't know. We don't know. But if he comes to my sickbay, I will help him. But that is a decision for them to make. If we go out there, then we are enforcing our opinions. If they come to us, we are neutrally helping everyone. Da?
I fear that while I understand your reasoning and I understand the need to try and keep things as they are expected to be for the Klingons, I don't know how much more beyond what I have seen I can stomach in terms of seeing innocent and frightened people be injured for the mere act of being afraid.
Are people already hurting? Physically?
Other than the necessary, though, because it was quite a violent scuffle, but it was violent for Klingons.
It was a violent scuffle. None of them had. It was all like at worst improv weapons. Connect was only one of the only ones with a proper blade. They had a punch up. It was a pretty significant punch up. It wasn't just like a regular Klingon brawl, but it wasn't like generally an incredibly brutal situation. And like Klingons are very hardy.
A few scuffs and scrapes, but mostly everyone walked away intact, barring the showcase.
Okay. I agree with you. It's not nice. It's the opposite. It's unnice. It's bad.
To her credit, he scrambles for his notes, which are on the other character sheet. Siha was... I think Siha recognized the fact that I was showing restraint in not stepping in, and in turn was quite open in educating me in matters such as if we helped the injured Klingon ringleader in any way, then we would be potentially making his day worse as a result. I do not want to give you the impression that Siha was callous or cruel, but the mechanisms of that are so close to what our societies would deem to be cruelty.
During this conversation, Arkady has been bustling around making tea because they're thinking. Maybe then we're coming at this from a different way. I'm a doctor and you're a security officer, so I'm used to fixing people when they get hurt, and you're used to keeping an eye on the situation to make sure it doesn't get worse. Maybe I put out another cup. We speak to Kowalski and we see if there's something we can do to make things actively better. They were squabbling over fuel. Maybe we can see if the ship can replicate some fuel supplies. Maybe we can get to the root of why people are fighting before they're fighting. When I was growing up, if two people ended up having a scrap on the mining floors, then usually it was because of something, and just punishing them for that didn't make anything better in the long run.
No.
And I know that the situation is they're frightened and they don't have food, but maybe there's something we can do to alleviate that beyond just violence.
Maybe. Let us speak to Kowalski.
We will speak to Kowalski, Karis, but first, I want you to sit there. I want you to finish all of that tea.
Okay.
And I want you to remember that you're very good at your job.
I'm very good at being a security officer. I'm not sure if I'm good at this job yet.
No, I didn't mean that this job in particular was your true calling. That the discipline of Klingons, very much your future life goals, Karis. I meant more your...
I meant being a chief security officer.
Well, every security officer has to put their own stamp on the job. And I think the fact that this bothers you so much does you credit.
Perhaps, but I'm hardly speaking out about it when it matters. I can't help but wonder what Lieutenant Vance would have done in that same situation.
When Siha gets back, you can sit and have a conversation with her. Lieutenant Vance would have gone up to her and been easy and gone, I have a problem with how you went about those businesses. Maybe we could have a little southern chat about it, and then they'd talk for a bit, and then he'd go, I see your point of view, and then they would probably have done that thing where they shake elbows. You know, where you hold someone's elbow.
Yes. Yes. Well, let's see if we end up elbow shaking later, and I will finish this tea.
Very important. I'll go get Kowalski. You are to sit right there. Doctor's orders.
Okay.
And breathe. Breathe through your nose.
I breathe through my nose. I roll.
I was about,
Crit fail, I
to
die.
be like, thanks for telling me, the GM, that. I was like, too much. And then you doubled down.
Oh.
Woof, woof.
The Klingons have brought their dogs. While we're going to get Kowalski, though, Borov is going to be, like, clocking the Klingons, like, that are around, milling about, to see if there are any, like, overall anxieties, or, like, if the air has changed since what happened.
Make me an empathy check. I told you you'd need dice. It's difficult. It's difficulty 1. It's the standard difficulty.
These fucking animals.
Klingons have dogs.
Quite a noise you
Memory
made,
Alpha
young
has
man.
told me about.
Young sir. Very small sir. Tiniest of sirs.
Hey, sir.
That's +4.
Oh, Christ. Yeah. There is a shift in the atmosphere. Word has clearly sifted back through, especially since Ola's come in to have the conversation to there. It is a little difficult to put your finger on because Klingons, it would be wrong to say that they actually seem calmer, but there is still the tension, there is still the worry, but it does actually feel like a lid has been put on it. I think Borov would have to investigate further to. Yeah, in terms of the subtleties of what are going on, without talking to Klingons, it would be very difficult for Borov to figure it out. But, like, maybe the situation is more complex than is expected, but at the very least, what Siha has done has not set them off.
Okay.
Yeah, you can go to the replicator setup and the queue and find Kowalski, who's like bouncing around, supervising, and heads up.
Well,
Doctor,
morning. Hello.
good morning.
Do you have a few minutes to spare?
Sure. Let me just Stevens, you got all this? Remember, I mean, say give him a smile, but no teeth. I don't think they like that. Cool.
Oh, Alan, this gesture's pretty good. It's like, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good gesture, yeah.
So, I have a security chief of ours in my sick bay. He's having not the best day. Because the Klingons are also not having the best day. And I think he's taking it very personally. So, I was thinking if there was something we could do to try and help alleviate the situation. I think they were squabbling over fuel shortages, and I wondered if that's the sort of thing that we could handle.
Sure. I mean, our instructions are pretty much to like take requests, do a check in. I'll be checking with Sihar on sort of that kind of industrial scale equipment and demands rather than just the food requisitions, and I can push on her, see what's going on, make sure if necessary. Hey, maybe no, then we might get it. Is there any risk of us getting like attacked, do you think? Because I was going to say that we just get one of the vehicles, we just strap one of the replicators up onto the back of it, and then we just kind of go on a drive about to, like
See, that's what I was
throwing
thinking.
things around.
That's what I was thinking. But then I reckon we should ask Lieutenant Zal, because he's head of security, and he'll be like, that's good, or no, that's bad.
Sure, let's go. Kowalski heads into the bounds and bounces are the only words I will ever use to describe how he moves anywhere.
Knock, knock, just the happiest people in Starfleet.
Hey, LT, here we gotta need to bring some goodness to the people and all that. So,
Yes.
Kowalski had a really good idea.
Go on.
Well, I don't know if it's a great security idea, but if I was doing this for people who, I was going to say who aren't Klingons, that seems mean, but like it's not my call. I was just going to say we can get one of the vehicles and shunt one of the industrial replicators onto the back of it, and then just head out into the city, into we can end it in adjacent areas and make sure we can distribute things right to the people right where we need them. But obviously, if they're the wrong kind of tension out there, then that's just asking to get mobbed.
But here's the thing. I have a friend in the town, and I was thinking maybe we could go see her with our replicator, and she could help us with what people need, and also if they get out of line. She has that sort of energy of, like, everyone's mother. Like,
working with locals, great way to not get, stabbed.
But also is not working with the locals in offering medicine to a man who was punitively beaten to prove a point. It's offering support in the whole way. Do you need fuel? Do you need new self-stealing stem bolts? We've got you covered.
Got so many self-sealing stem bolts.
How do we have so many of them?
I don't
What
know.
do we use them for?
This as an act, I like in theory, but I will make aware for you the risks involved. We are dealing with a planet undergoing incredible tension and uncertainty, and it might well be, even if you go out there, not so much on a mission of mercy, but more of a mission of philanthropy, you could still be seen as trying to enforce or instigate Star Trek's. Fuck. Damn it! Shit!
Title drop!
The will of the Star Trek. The Federation's will upon the Klingon people. possibly
Just offering
unlikely.
them things.
Then we'll be subtle about it. We'll put it on the vehicle, we'll cover it up, and we'll go see my friend and be like, hey, this good for you? This cool?
I mean, we can
I don't
try, but like, it's an industrial replicator. It's pretty
I mean-
distinct,
Not-
even if you throw a
the
sheet
replicator
over
is
it.
not what I think needs to be hidden. It's just the manner in which you go about this.
Yeah, I mean, we're not driving around going, boo, 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 hello, Klingons, boo, boo, boo.
Boo, 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 boo.
Like with horn.
Like a big horn, you know?
Uh-huh.
Wah 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 wah. Does it better than I can do it.
Well, provided that there are indeed no dubstep horns, I don't foresee a problem with this.
I could always play music. I brought music with me.
I'm going
No.
to beg you not to.
Okay, but if I'm driving, I get the aux. That's the rule, remember?
No, it's not.
Oh shit, I didn't know that.
So you're, I mean, are you gonna stay here then, Lieutenant?
I feel like I am, which feels shitty. Let me approach Kath briefly as the GM. Does that split seem like too much?
Not necessarily. It's probably only gonna be like one scene with Burial. Like it's you can come with, but I'm not like no.
Yeah.
And besides, you know, it's fine. It's fine to stay.
Yeah, yeah. I think given the situation, Zal's probably waiting more for Siha
Yeah.
at this point, so he'll be very much. I'll remain.
Arkady has the energy of the naughty child who's like, Sihar might not approve of our scheme, so we need to go before Sihar gets back.
Take Stevens with you, who has just recently been invented and born into this world.
I thought I'd go.
No, you're going.
You as well.
No, and then Stevens is running things.
Okay,
Stevens
I'll
is
look
in
at
charge until we get back.
Kowalski, Borov, you two go.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
You got it, Lieutenant.
Hang on.
Thank you.
Right on.
Right on.
Kowalski and Borov could go, like, set up, or rather, Borov can, you know, supervise managerially as one of the industrial replicators is put onto, like, a flatbed truck.
It's looking good.
Although, on the kind of the way out, like, they'll get one of the security, you'll get Ryder. I always like Ryder. He's my favourite since that time he punched Sammy in the face.
He was all of our favourites.
Though on the way out, as like Zal's heading back out, Kowalski will kind of come around from the back of the of the replicator with a football and flip it over to Zal.
One hand catch, effortless.
A ball game going. No contact, so it's Klingon, so they won't break each other.
All right.
That's a good idea.
It keeps everyone happy. He looks down at Bro. You said that he was sad, so I originally thought that we were just going to do something to cheer him up.
No, this is good.
It's not a ball game.
He doesn't like being cheered up. He likes having something to do. So if you give him a job, he'll enjoy it. And this is both. It's good work.
You didn't specify the ball, and now I get to pick which
I just
sport
picked
the
football.
Klingons. Damn it! I want to make the white Klingons can't jump joke, but no. Okay, fine.
I mean, that would
it's
work.
American football.
Non-contact sport was the priority.
Yes. Okay, I'll try and instigate Klingon catch.
Klingon dodgeball.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. When you say football, I'm thinking American football.
Oh no! Actual, but no, an actual football.
Okay.
soccer.
Okay. Yeah.
Because that would not come under the heading of non-contact sport. Because Kowalski has at least figured out of go play rugby or American football, Klingons.
I mean, I'd pay good money to watch Klingon rugby.
Yeah, but it wouldn't achieve what Kowalski wants to achieve.
Kantos would be happy. Burrow would probably be happy.
Time to get some death from the opposition going on. Sick reference,
True.
Mike. Thanks, fam.
True. Should have been softball, maybe. Okay.
And I guess they drive around going, do you know where Burial lives?
playing the Venga Bus was unfortunately what I was at for the music.
It comes for thee.
So I've ruined this entire flatbed truck expedition with that music pumping out. But like, if Burov was gonna have a theme, like, it's not a million miles away from the right genre.
Iskandar bus is coming.
Dancing with Kowalski doing. Oh no. Okay. So, however, cuts to away from first point for now. No, we're going to move to a shuttle has been commandeered or used by Lieutenants Casey, Ensign Strange, and Luth for what has been only like an hour's journey to head to the provincial agricultural settlement further to the north, like the other side of the continent of Lumus. It is a slightly more upland kind of settlement, but again, this is a terraformed world, so it has the advantage of a lot of it is still usable for agriculture, especially as the Klingons didn't care as whilst the ecosystem needed to work, they didn't really otherwise care that much about it, of like diversity beyond bare necessity. And you can, from the flyover, as Luth gives you the instructions of how to get to Lumus, you will be able to see a very small settlement. Probably doesn't have more than 100 population, and a lot of sprawling fields out for the area. And you can see from up here, it's quite shocking the extent to which the fields are very, ripples of brown through them of where the crops have been dying out. It's and browns and whites, really quite unpleasant. But that means you can find a point to set down, and like it's clearly a proper landing area because they still need to ship stuff out. You're not like landing in someone's finishing off the last damn crop that someone had of the Dratso crop. At the outskirts of the village, pop the hatch, step out into pretty like bit of a chillier climb, not considerably so, but that sort of brisk, bright sunshine of this area beyond, with the green fields nearby and brown. And you've obviously drawn a bit of attention on the approach as the three of you get out. And a crowd is not gathering. A crowd is trying to look as if they're going about their business. But breaking away from the main bulk of them is a fairly elderly Klingon male, again in a lot of the rough-hewn clothes of the lower class Klingons of Hatoria. And his eyes lock on Luth the moment he sees you. What does the House of Ratek want of this settlement, young son of Ratek? Luth. We need to take a look at your crops, gather some samples. I made a request yesterday for some of the samples of your most afflicted and first afflicted seeds to be sent to Haven's Hall, which you did not do, Hudom. Hudom scoffs. I have many concerns here. I have people whose resources are drying up, whose supplies are waning, rather than answering the calls of the House of Ratek, which has done very little for us since any of this began, and has very often done little for us. Ugh, shakes his head. I do not care about your disagreements with my mother right now. Myself, my comrades from Starfleet, we are attempting to try to find a resolution to this situation. Dom shakes. Starfleet can help. All that I have received from Ratek over the past year was some barrels of blood wine to congratulate us on a harvest. Since everything has gone ill, there has been nothing, and now you ask for us to jump to you. If you wish to come back with your warriors and demonstrate the might of the House of Ratek and go play about the crops and gather your samples, so be it. But in the meantime, you do not come to make demands of me and my village. Starfleet, you can do as you wish. And the old man turns and slopes back up the hill. The scowls in his usual sulky way. He's always been a difficult old man. If he'll talk with you, if he'll get someone to... It would probably take some time for us to, by ourselves, identify which field was afflicted first and get a sample of that. Maybe you'll have more luck with him.
We can certainly try. So this isn't an unusual stance for them to take.
It is. It's downright disrespectful, but I have no interest in... I'm here to work. I have no interest in getting caught up in how angry he is at my mother.
I understand.
Okay. He clearly thinks that right now the House of Ratek has better things to worry about than one disagreeable old man. And he has run this village for decades upon decades. I suppose Mother would find some disarming thing to say to him, no doubt, rather than have him beaten. I will take my scanner. I don't think they'll stop me if I go about the fields and see if I can find some samples, figure out what I can about the age of the infections here, but it will be easier if Hudom cooperates.
Well, we shall certainly do what we can.
You look as if you have questions. No? Fine. Good. Pulls out his, Klingon grade tricorder and just stalks off into a field. Like, he's right. Oh, you probably could figure this out for yourself. You'd spend a good day just widdly-weeing a bunch of dead crops.
Right. Shall we... And Strange kind of gestures up the hill to where Hudon's gone.
Yes, let's.
You head through the village. This has you haven't really seen the situation at first point, but this is a clearly Hudom is not speaking shite when he mentions that the village has its problems. There is a tension in the air. You're not yet at like wailing families in the streets or gaunt-cheeked starving people, but there are a lot of like small clusters of people, and there do appears to be quite a bit of like of gathering of what they have and trying to distribute it as the village is trying to pull together without a great deal of supplies available to them. Hudom doesn't move enormously quickly, so you can follow him to one of the bigger houses in the center of the village. You'll pretty much catch up with him at the door. They've got very sort of domed clay kind of quality to them as buildings. And he will look back, see you arriving. So young Luth thought better than to try his own charm with me. Come. He ducks inside to the fairly... it's a fairly modest, but it's that incongruous mixture of, stone walls, but basic technology for him to be able to come in and put on some... he's not going to make you tea. He's a fucking old Klingon man. He will move over to a keg in the corner. Blood wine?
Oh, certainly.
Oh,
yes, thank you.
It's from Ratek, so you might as well enjoy her generosity. As he comes out and hands you both like beakers rather than full tankards. Has to move some stuff around for just sit on stools near to a window. There's not a vast amount of material lighting, but there's a big porthole window with big old sunbeam piercing through into this fairly gloomy building. I am Hudom. I am nothing more than the oldest and loudest voice of this village. It gets you far.
Samuel Casey. This is Ensign Samuel Adam Strange. He doesn't make that mistake. He will take my name when he weds me. But my
Not
first
even
name
my last name. He'll take my first name.
We'll both be Sammy.
I didn't think that was what we'd agreed to, but okay.
You're an ensign now. Your opinion doesn't matter. You'll do as you're bid.
Well, Casey, Strange, what are you? You're here for. You wanted sample. You wanted my dead crops.
Yes. We are on the cusp of discovering not only how it has spread, but trying to isolate an origin point. Yours was a sample that was missing from our data set, and we need it for a more complete picture of the blight spread. And from there, we'll be able to isolate a few potential areas of origin.
So, forgive me with your complicated words. You want just the oldest and deadest crop I can give you. And then you'll fix everything.
We'll certainly strive
That's certainly the idea.
Do you know how?
It depends entirely on what exactly is happening. A lot can be reversed, but there might be... Well, no, not reversed. Stymied, stopped.
Stopped. You can stop the Turknon.
Potentially. I want to make no promises. There is a lot we still don't understand.
You don't know how you're going to do it yet, do you?
No.
See, sometimes you're just going to have to, well, act. Dancing around a problem, trying to understand the problem better and better and better is sometimes just an excuse for not having the answer.
Certainly, but I would much rather proceed with as complete a picture as I can obtain to assure the most likely route to success.
You still don't know what you're going to do. How has young Luth been handling him not being able to be the little lordling the one time Hatoria has a problem that might suit him?
Casey does the slow nod of someone who clearly doesn't want to be the one to answer that question because he is doubting his people skills right now. And very much the floor is strangers to answer on that one.
Noted people person, Adam Strange.
Noted people person, Adam Strange. Yeah. Cheers, Lieutenant. How would Strange going to answer that?
Just silence.
Yeah, it probably is a bit of an awkward silence, but it's probably the kind of awkward silence that speaks like absolute volumes as to exactly how Luth's been taking this.
Then I think Casey will probably jump in after notably too long silence, even for him to have picked up on that and gone about as well as one might expect.
Oh, my expectations were... I wouldn't say I had them. Maybe hopes. He should really know better than to let an old man like me give him lip like I did.
What would be the acceptable response from him, to your eyes?
To remind me that he is the son of Ratek, and that I am but Hudom of no house and no name, and that he is here trying to save his world. Not to skulk off into the long grass as if no one will notice him.
What do you think holds him back from such proclamations?
Oh, I couldn't begin to do more than gossip constantly. I don't know how it is in Starfleet.
Probably more gossip than this, but less gossip than constantly.
I meant if people don't take you seriously.
Oh, right. If people don't take you seriously, well then usually, if they are a prideful person, they would probably want to make a statement to try and reclaim that appearance in the public eye.
Mm.
It surprises me that Loth does not have that sense of belonging. Would that be correct?
He's a good lad. I've seen more of him than I saw of any of the other children of Ratek since Makag. But Makag would do his duty, come about, make everyone feel better, toss some babies in the air, and, catch them.
Oh.
And everyone's happy to have a warrior. It makes us all feel better about our small purpose. But the boy has cared more and done more, but he doesn't hold his mother accountable. As I say, what did I get out of Ratek other than 2 months ago, some blood wine? Which I assume she sent everywhere.
I couldn't speak to that.
Congratulations on your work. I mean, I assume that she sent Starfleet.
We have come from her call, yes.
Well, maybe that's better. It doesn't speak much of her faith in her son. Maybe that bothers him more, and maybe that's why he won't defend her name to me. I don't know, however, I just know that I cannot do with another lordling coming in and expecting he can tell me what to do. The boy knows he should listen. Say the boy. The fact that he lets me think of him as the boy. But in the meantime, I have to deal with Lumos, and if you are here just for your inquiries, I will have some drinks and I will be back, and I will ensure that you are brought what you need.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gets up, potters out.
I wonder if we need to do something about Leth.
Something about Leth?
Inspire him in some way. Try and get him to act in the way that his departed brother might have wanted.
It sounds like you have something in mind.
Oh, I don't. No, I'm terrified entirely
Okay.
at the prospect of inspiring a Klingon to greatness, but part of me wonders, what is holding him back?
Yes.
I mean,
It's...
Hudom is not wrong. There was an insult made to his family, and come to think of it, any Klingon
And to him.
Yes. I
To
know.
him directly, and certainly any Klingon I've ever met, even ones who are more scientists and engineers, would still have thrown Hudon over a table.
I feel like a more commandeering member of Starfleet that wanted to try and bring him out of his shell would try to goad him and force him into a position of having to defend himself or his honor, and I don't know if I'm that Starfleet officer.
No, I feel like goading him to the point where he kicks off ends badly for either of us that do that.
Yes. Maybe if Zal was here.
Maybe.
I can give it a go.
I mean, if you give it a go, I guess I can't exactly stop you, but
Yes. No, but Adam, you still have the full capacity beyond rank to tell me if something I'm saying is a bad idea and should not be pursued.
yes.
I'm not going to pull rank on you for fighting a Klingon.
I wasn't volunteering to also fight the Klingon.
I just feel like someone needs to fight this Klingon.
Right, okay.
Am I wrong? I think something needs to challenge Luff's comfort zone.
I suppose, yes, something does, and I also cannot think of anything else immediately that would be a better option than trying to get him to the point where he starts a fight.
Okay, well, I'll put some thought to what I might say. Maybe jot some ideas down on a pad.
I mean, if you'd rather not fight Liv, I'm happy. Happy, but I'll.
I just want him to react. I want him to do something which is more in keeping to his people than sulking around and being intensely helpful. Don't get me wrong, but what's he proud of?
The impression I get is that what he's proud of is what he does of his work. It's a weirdly quiet pride for a Klingon, but that's what he's proud of.
Yes.
So that's what you'd need to take a dig at, not his family.
Yes.
His family's less important to him than his work, so it's...
His family right now should probably be the most important thing in the world, given that we're talking about choosing a successor. And he doesn't seem to approve of either of his siblings being the successor, but I know for a fact if we asked him if he wanted to be the successor, he would equally say no. Then who?
Yeah.
And maybe we'll end up working at odds. Maybe Talandra is going to be trying to stymie Kavek's rage and maybe... I don't know. Maybe I should just focus on the Blights. Maybe I shouldn't get involved in the politics of a Klingon household.
I mean, thinking about it, it might also help with getting things sorted with the Blight. Not in terms of trying to find the actual results, but in terms of solving the Blight problem isn't just what we do, and the developing a cure for it. There does need to be some interaction with the people of Hortoria. And, well, Lith's probably the best person to do it. But if that's the reaction he's going to get everywhere, then it's not going to go very far. The more I talk about this, the more I'm on board with the idea of trying to provoke him somewhat.
Right?
It still sounds like a bad idea, but it's sounding like a less bad idea.
ducking back in comes Hudon, who has like a little wicker basket. Comes in, wafting away. Like I say, an insect, but like this is a Klingon place, so like whatever it fucking was buzzing our way, it's like a fucking inch long or something.
Oh,
This
God.
is just. I don't know how much Casey hates that.
A lot.
It's big. It's big. It's clearly got like big fucking some sort of like death bee or something from Casey's perspective.
Fuck.
Comes in with this. I've gathered what we first found was we kept it because we're farmers and we understand why these things are important and useful.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
these were the first crops which we found dead from root to stem. If you have, I don't expect you have anything, however, I would encourage your ship, if you're doing anything to help the people of Victoria to, well, either work quickly or don't forget the villagers.
We shan't.
Of course.
We're not about to drop dead here tomorrow. But I think we'd say in a week, if you've not, well, in a week either way, we've lost a lot of crops. But in a week or so, we could maybe do with some more supplies.
Of course. I don't know if there's anything that we could help you with more immediately. We haven't brought supplies with us, but we have our skills that we could maybe put to good use.
I don't know what you can do.
I'm an engineer. I fix things.
Well, if you fixed all of our agricultural equipment, our crops would still be dead. So
I figured that would probably be the answer, but
cure the blight. Bring your Starfleet's generosity in some days' time. That'll do.
Very well.
Right, now, go forth and be heroes. I think that's what all you young ones want anyway.
Okay.
That's not the answer of a hero.
Yes, sir.
He goes over, like, gets a... pokes him in the chest.
No.
That's a straighten.
Oh.
Have some pride about you. I don't know what it is that you care about in Starfleet.
A fair amount.
Like?
Doing good where good can be done.
Alright, are you doing good?
I will be with this. He gestures to the dead crops.
Alright, well then don't cringe when I tell you to go forth and be a hero.
As you say.
I
do. And you too.
She just straightens up before as they don't just waves the stick at him.
Yeah,
it's like a poker,
poke.
like for a fire, rather than like a full-on like walking thing. Like it's not like he doesn't need it.
It's metal and a little sharp.
The stubby end, yeah. It's a bit of a jab.
Yeah,
did not.
Strange definitely straightens up before Tom can even get around to poking him in the chest. He's like, "Oh, one of the Klingon to poke me in the chest. That's not a fun experience. I don't want that again."
All right, go on, off with you.
Okay. I stride out.
Let's go.
You leave.
Words cannot express how much I love this man. This he is the best. I should like to keep him.
I'm getting Klingon Uncle Iroh vibes.
There is a bit, yeah. Yes, you can head out. You can find your way through the village. You get eyeballed, but like this isn't like Klingon Hicksville, so there's a bit of curiosity. But we've got shit to do, and you're not interfering with what we're doing. So, And you head back towards the shuttle, you can see Luth is still in one of the nearby fields. It is, pretty mixture of dead and dying crops out there. He's very still, looking over his tricorder. So he doesn't notice you.
Any thoughts on how to start?
No. But at the very least, we should go get him.
We should go get him. I'm also going to suggest that we wait until we're back at First Point before anything. If nothing else, so that we're not, just left on the other side of the planet.
That's a fair point. Yes, I won't start a fight with our Klingon ride home.
Yes.
It's your shuttle.
It's our shuttle. Like, to be fair, it is our shuttles. But at the same time, we've got an hour flight. If nothing else, I don't want an awkward flight or a flight where we're just spending the whole time being beaten senseless.
Let's go stand next to Arcady before we make this decision, shall we?
Let's go get within range of the medic before we kick off.
But it's so funny.
I think I
Also-
adore the
also
sad boys
Zal-
negotiating a duel in advance. Like,
Yeah, let's make sure we've got Zal, because neither of us have muscles and we might need some nearby just in case. And let's make sure that Arcady's nearby.
Okay.
Let's go get the responsible adults before we kick off. None of this is what's Rangers encountered.
I will go and retrieve Luth.
You head over to Luth. He's still stood staring at his tricorder.
We have the sample.
He looks up, looks about. You hear the buzzing again of like the insects that you heard from inside.
Oh no.
And then his hand shoots out and he grabs something from midair. And as he brings it in, you can see this is like a fucking death wasp thing. It is.
That has
big.
escalated from death bee. Like,
Yeah, it's
death
more of a
bees are
death-
one thing. Death
More of a death
wasps.
bee. To be fair, it is more of a death bee of this big, like you can see its pulsing little body, and it's got
Yeah.
not just a pretty vicious stinger, but those pretty angry little
Got
mandibles
little angry teeth.
with like it's got more of a redness to its carapace. If bees have carapaces, whatever this one does.
Thorax.
Thorax, yeah, it's more of a redness to this thorax. Before he, as he grabs it, it's wriggling. He's not like crushed it. He's grabbed it as he puts the tricorder away, pulls out a sample pot, puts it in there, snaps it shut.
I think in that there's
Mhm.
the shot where he snatches the
Mhm.
hate wasp, Mr. Miyagi style. Like, it's in front of Casey's face, so that when he pulls the hand away, the camera focuses in on Casey, just be like, oh fuck. I've been plotting to fight this guy. It turns out he's a kung fu master. But more seriously, looking at him putting the insect away as a sample, you think it's connected?
Guhua. That's the name of them.
Yes. Are they common? Is it unusual in some way?
No, just regional. They don't come to the warmer climes very much. This is normal. Let's get back.
Okay.
So yeah, you can head back to the shuttle and have what I assume is going to be a real awkward ride back.
No, it's fine in so much as I'm just going to talk about the science. I'm not going to be like, by the way, I'll duel you later, I guess.
like as you talk about it, Lys will nod. He's clearly deep in thought, though he will pause. In Starfleet, you have more. Well, you expect your scientists to be respected, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
And the accuracy of your work and the value of your words is what gives you the worth.
Yes.
Yes.
Do you feel that is not the case for you?
Of course it isn't.
Because it is not a warrior's career?
More or less. Have you not noticed how my brother at least can bring a warm tale to a feast hall, and my sister can be a complete monster, but she is still a warrior.
If you can forgive my saying so, your brother struck me more as a blowhard and a braggart than a what I would assume a Klingon warrior to be.
Oh, he's not respected really as a warrior, but he is. I assume everywhere people who are good company are forgiven all manner of foibles. I am not good company.
But does your society not put value on deeds rather than words?
Yes. Don't mistake me. People's tolerance and enjoyment of Judim only goes so far. Especially now he no longer has Makag's deeds for him to run along in the background and say, I was there too. That won him something. But it is still more appreciated than my tiresome ways.
Your sister seemed to command the respect of a few.
Yes, the warriors.
But not everyone left the hall with her.
A warrior's honor. Klingon honor is defined by one of two perspectives. Whether it is the honor you hold in yourself, solely by which you judge yourself and no others, the standards to which you hold yourself, or honor is in how you are seen. Honor is constructed by the views of those around you. Honor is your reputation. I don't know if my sister thinks that the horrible things that she has done, what I would call the dishonorable things that she has done, I don't know if she doesn't care for the judgment of others because she feels her honor is sound, or if she only cares for the judgment of others, and thus wished to bathe herself in enough grand deeds that victory was all that counted. You understand, for a warrior, being Klingon is not something you are, it's something you do.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
But you say that deeds speak louder than words in your society. Could you not? You do a lot of good work here, Lith. I don't see why you couldn't push that to have the respect that you probably deserve as a...
I can do the work. I can try to find a cure for the Tuchnon, although obviously it still requires the assistance of yourselves. And yes, I'm grateful for it, but it is embittering that Had my mother chosen to send the funds and the resources, I could have had the facilities to run the scans that I need Iskandar for, to investigate just as much, but I need Iskandar because all I get is what I have been able to cobble together in my cellar. And then even if I am going about trying to help the settlements with this, everyone is... You saw the old man. Frustrated with my mother. Why should I sit and fight my mother's battles for her when she won't fight mine?
It doesn't have to be your mother's battles that you fight, though.
That's who Hudon was angry at.
Hudon was
So why
angry
should he
at
take
the
that anger
house.
on you?
The house which she leads and she commands. And I do what I can. But I have not been able to provide relief to Lemus because I have been trying to grasp the concept of Turnon so that we can understand it, so that we can cure it. My mother has very strangely withdrawn. And Judim and Kavek are useless. But if I come forward into the hall, Kavek will call me weak, and Judim will make a joke about whatever I have to say.
What would a warrior do in such an occurrence if they were called weak?
Well, you see, if I were a warrior, she wouldn't have the grounds to call me weak. And also, if I'm going to, challenge her for it, at which point she will beat me. My deeds can speak. My deeds should speak for themselves. Apparently they don't. But fighting Kavek is a waste of my time and energy.
Perhaps.
Getting pummeled by my sister because she calls me weak, and then I stand up and say I am not weak, and the warrior with 2 decades experience trounces me. It is a waste of time for me to try to chase my siblings' approval, but they will not stop at anything, especially whilst the Arbiter of Succession is here. They will not stop at anything to try to pin me as little better than the Jintak.
And don't chase their approval.
I'm not chasing their approval. But at any step I want to do anything in the house, I'm still opposed by their disapproval.
In your culture, does the people's will amount to anything?
What would they know? All they care about is that the sun will rise tomorrow. I would say all they care about is that the sun will rise tomorrow, that their families will thrive, and that there will be a good harvest. And indeed, that is all that they care about. And one of those is in jeopardy, and I can fix that. That is the people's will that matters.
Does it?
What do they know about the burdens of a great house? What do they know about the oaths we have sworn to the house heck?
I imagine only as much as they are told.
They don't need to know more.
Your strength and the strength of will that I have observed in you has come from how dedicated you have been in trying to resolve a matter that isn't solely a concern for your house, but a concern for the people to whom the house is the difference between a quality of life or not. The Tuknon and your capacity with it, everything that you've been undertaking for them, surely that amounts to something. And if the people care truly about if the sun rises and there's a good harvest tomorrow, and you bring them that good harvest, who is anyone to say that you do not have a warrior's spirit? You have fed the people. A sword cannot do that.
Oh, we haven't fed the people yet.
No, not yet.
And you can say that to me. But
But
I
you're
dare
doing
say...
far more to make that happen than either of
Oh.
your siblings.
Yes. I know.
So why not say that loudly enough that people actually notice?
Because
If
I
you're
have
what
better
you're
things
doing,
to do than fight for my own reputation.
But with the succession at hand, it is not just your reputation.
If I am selected by the arbiter of succession, then everyone will just simply say that Starfleet has picked someone who will be a friend to the Federation. And you will not pick me.
Which of the other two do you think would be better?
I do not know, and also, so far as I'm concerned, this was irresponsible of my mother to make this happen, to do this now. My mother is running away from her own responsibility because she does not want to make the choice. She has foisted it onto Starfleet. Presumably so, knowing her, my mother is more conniving than you know. Knowing her, she has done this so the Arbiter may make a decision, and then she can test the waters of that decision, and then overrule it if it turns out it's going to go awry.
So then why challenge your brother or sister at all when it sounds like she needs a challenge?
Because right now we have the Tournon to concern ourselves with. My mother has not just been irresponsible and conniving by choosing Starfleet so she can test it, she has been irresponsible by causing a distraction. I understand that you are the scientists, but still 2 of your officers are busy embroiled in this. You are talking to me about how I should prove myself worthy for the succession. No, I shouldn't. I should be fixing this problem. Not arguing with my sister or arguing with my mother.
I agree, and I fully support you on the idea that your time is better spent on the act that we are doing. But I think turning a blind eye to the wider situation, even if, as you say, it has been brought about perhaps needlessly or perhaps connivingly by your mother, it is still a situation that is ongoing. And then ultimately, by the end of it, if we have done nothing to secure a better future for your house in this time, we only have ourselves to blame for our choices. Inaction is still a choice.
I see. You as visitors will not actually fix the succession crisis of the House of Artek. For you, you have come here and the situation is volatile and you think that the fate of the house is in this moment. But as I say, if this goes poorly, Mother will overturn it. If this goes well, she will take credit. Whatever would happen will happen. My family's future is no more in a volatile crisis now than it was after we discovered Makag was dead.
So that just makes it a longer term problem then. So why only focus on the comparatively short term problem of the Tuchnon and wholly ignore the longer term problem of the succession of your house and the future that will come from that, whether it's led by your sister, your brother, or someone else.
House Heck, once they turn and discover that I, the bookish runt, and that I will prove myself over and over and over again. Surely I can get more done here without that burden. Do you have your superiors constantly demanding you justify your role or even existence?
No. And I can
Not
only
right.
imagine how difficult that is. Actually, that not quite says way more than anything Casey could have contributed. I want to retract my line.
I didn't hear it. I didn't actually properly hear what Strange said. So
No,
I was
not
like,
what Strange said
quite.
was not quite.
Yeah, not quite.
Carefully not looking at Casey.
Carefully not looking at Strange.
Lux is pointedly looking at Strange.
You can get questions on what you do. You can, in Starfleet, be in the position where you need to prove yourself, either from your superiors or from your peers.
And if you do your work well, does Starfleet say, well, you weren't a very good security officer, so we don't care?
They don't say that, but sometimes it's not just enough to do the job well. You've got to show that you're doing the job well. Just quietly getting on with it doesn't always get noticed. Just quietly getting on with it doesn't always work.
What does loudly getting on with it in Starfleet look like?
I don't know.
Then why are you lecturing me? That was a stab, but I think then you and I are in similar boats. It's Strange. What is that human saying about picking battles? I am choosing my battlefields. And they do not include constantly butting heads with my sister or my mother. And I will still honour my house and its responsibilities by doing everything I can for the people of Hatoria.
It may. I respect your choice. I am not trying to reopen this conversation again. But that, as a parting statement from you, is the kind of thing that I would expect a leader of Starfleet to say.
He looks like he's weighing something up and then doesn't press on. And I think on that point we're going to take a break. So we're going to take a break at a civilized time tonight, because it's crazy as opposed
And
to
then we'll never come back again.
we'll never come back again.
Bye!
Goodbye forever.
Goodbye!
What up? We're back. Mike just declared that we were back by saying boop immediately before he that cracks me up. Okay, yes, so jumping back into it, we will reconvene at Caverns Hall, where Lieutenant Commander Talandra and Lieutenant Cantos last split up to go and speak with Judim and Luth, respectively, and Cantos has had the opportunity to return to the ship, return from the ship to the hall, to return to the suites of offices and rooms where the crew, the senior staff, are staying, where Talandra can have more of that delightful tea that Mehed brought her.
Delightful tea.
So sorry,
You could reunite.
zoned out for us.
Yeah.
Zoned out for a second.
You could reunite.
Yes.
In the suites.
So, how was your conversation with Judim, Commander?
I found my lunch Perhaps a little more illuminating once it was quiet.
I see.
I believe he means it when he speaks to extend a hand of friendship to Starfleet.
Mm-hmm.
Although friendship with Starfleet should be the bare minimum point of interest, considering our coming to help this house. It does not feel like a controversial statement for anyone to make. It
No,
feels like
it
Ratek
doesn't.
is more controversial by being aggressive.
Yeah. One would hope that she would have slightly more pressing concerns as well, rather than just being nice to us. Especially since, Vivek aside, that seems to be the default position.
Of course, we are no closer to finding a solution.
No. No, Lust's stance is still very much that this isn't a battle that he wants to pick. That he would rather be focused on his work than having to deal with Klingon inter-house politics, and indeed intra-house politics, dealing with his sister, his brother,
There is a
entire
thudding
rest
at
of
the
the planet.
door, and Mehed will stick his head in. Arbiter, if you will forgive me, I believe you should. You are both needed. And as is his wont of any supporting character in a Star Trek show, he does not elaborate as he leads with at some pace.
As we're
Well,
officers of
that's
Starfleet,
okay.
as we're officers of Starfleet, we look at each other and we're confused, and we go, "Oh, he means you're going to want to take a look at this." Oh, yes, of course.
Of course, yes. They obviously use a different code phrase in,
No, I'm with him. I'm with
in
him.
Klingon societies.
Yeah, he leads you down through the Great Hall, and there is an increasing hubbub of the warriors and the staff moving out, clearly picking up word of something is going on, and heading sort of along with you into the courtyard. Out in the courtyard are that half dozen to a dozen or so of the Klingon warriors who walked out with Kvek, and at the head of them in her armor is Kvek. There is no sign of Ratek. Arbiter of Succession and your pet.
The lieutenant and I have been given that honor, yes, Kavat.
No, my mother has suggested that outsiders might think they know what is best for this house. What are your intentions, Starfleet?
My intention is to gain perspective on the situation and attempt to bring a cooler head to proceedings.
You have no understanding of my people, of my house, do you? To come in and bring a cooler head, to sit and to talk and to refuse to make decisions, is this it?
Then help me understand, Ratek.
To understand this house is, I would say, not something for an outsider, but if it is, I do not see how a Vulcan Starfleet officer is to have the slightest concept of the Klingon soul. And understand what you are trying to do is dictate and the future of the soul of this house. The Klingon hearts demand passion and strength. They demand a warrior's fire. I will not recognize any decisions from arbiters of succession who cannot demonstrate even the faintest grasp of the Klingon soul.
I'm led to believe then that your concerns are that we are not militant, that we are not decorated, that my people do not feel passion despite our outward presentation, or that humans do not. For I fought alongside the Klingons in the Dominion War. I understand our peoples are very different, but I have not come here to colonize your culture. I have come here to understand your problems and help provide solutions. And if you care about the future of this house, I would gladly open a dialogue with you, Ratek.
And a dialogue with me. I am not here to educate you on the ways of the Klingons. If you are intending to dictate our future, which is the purpose of the Arbiter, to make a decision, then you have to demonstrate your worthiness and your right and your strength to do so. Not mince at me with words. You are not going to understand the Klingon heart with a dialogue.
Then how would you suggest we understand the Klingon heart, Quebec? We have been asked by your mother to make this decision, to take on the role of the Arbiters of Succession. And since that's what's been asked of us, that is what we will do.
Unbuckle a little of that fire, Arbiter. Lieutenant, second, whatever it is I should call you. At least I see you have some. She starts to do that annoying stalking thing that people do.
Talandra doesn't roll her eyes, but she does everything. The micro expression is one of, oh, for God's sake.
Why should I listen to you? What possible reason do I have to think that you are anything other than long-winded diplomats?
I'm sorry. I think Talandra, in that moment, fully turns and, looks at Kantos with the expression of just someone who... Kantos knows her pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
She's not tired. She's not even sort of bored. This is the look of... She's been given 800 things to do at once, and she's just going, okay. We the first lesson she taught them as an officer is, you're given a lot of stuff to do, just start with the task that's in front of you. Mm-hmm. Just work your way through it. And she goes, do I understand what it is she is insisting upon?
I think she's made it pretty clear what she's insisting on. And Candace kind of started as if they're about to walk up to Quebec, and is kind of looking at Slander with are we doing this?
Lieutenant, she is significantly stronger than you. I will remind you of the risks once more. And I think Talandra is going to play up to the position where she's basically not quite turned her back on Quebec, because she knows, A, that's a stupid idea, and also Quebec will take that as, the biggest insult. But, she's turned away from the argument, and, very gently she puts a hand on Kantos's shoulder, which is not a natural gesture for her, but she's aware of the look of the thing, and then we'll just go, if I feel she is going too far, I will step in.
Please do.
And then we'll basically make it look like she stepped out of the way because Kantos is like, nah, let me at him.
Make me a deceive check.
Fuck. I will do. I also just really hit my funny bone.
Oh.
Oh yeah, I should open the stats because I'm about to need them, I think. Mostly provoke and fight are the ones I want to find.
Huh? Oh god, that's Arcady. Arcady's here now.
That's strange. Who has points in deceive? Wonder how he got those.
I don't. Well, unless Kantos is trying to play up how frustrated they're appearing. This is currently a Talandra deception.
Oh yeah, no, I was more just going,
Yeah.
when did I get that? But no, Kantos isn't going for any deception here because their attention's solely focused on Quebec here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so whilst I have no points in deceive,
Mm-hmm.
I have I've gained a +1, but I should like to tag an aspect to raise that. I don't feel the need to re-roll it
Sure.
but like that would get it to +3. Is that?
Yes, it would.
I would like to.
8 points. You can tag an aspect.
I would like to tag Mother to Hundreds, which is basically in this situation, Talandra is using her socializing skills and basically doing the I am being the responsible one. Because Talandra, in her heart of hearts, would like to be the one in this fight, if only because she can't stand the thought of Kantos getting their ass beaten by a Klingon, which is what's going to happen no matter how good they are. But also, they know that they, in that kind of way that your mother has to let the baby birds free, is like, I can't. I would be the bad choice for this, because this is about the look of the thing, and if I take a beating from a Klingon, I'll be like, this has been fun, can I go back to the office now? And Quebec won't be happy. So yeah, that's what I'm doing.
You do that. You can do that, and Talandra will make the show this slightly overemphasized show of acknowledging that she can't stand in Kantos's way, and Kantos will step forward. Quebec immediately grins, all teeth. Mehed will sidle in at this point, sort of. I'm to understand, then, that Quebec has issued a challenge to the Arbiters of Succession, questioning their suitability within the role. Yes, Quebec? And he's clearly like, or are you just talking shit? But Quebec goes, if the Arbiter, if the second wishes to fight, that will satisfy me enough.
We are both proclaimed arbiters in our own right.
That will suffice. Head.
So that's a yes, then. You are challenging us.
Yes, let's see if you have any fire about you.
I need the world to know
Very well.
that Talandra doesn't say it because she has control, but I have a shitty goblin in my brain at the moment that was just like, plus Quebec, it's the only way you're guaranteed a fair fight if you fight Kantos, bitch. Otherwise I just hand your ass to you, you piece of shit. But Talandra's not a fighty goblin, so...
Then she doesn't get, like, shot in the head suddenly.
What would happen? It's as Dre said in the chat, somehow if I end up in a fight, I'll get shot in the head.
It's true.
Sorry, my cat is possessed. Yes, the head will kind of slide, almost as if from nowhere, that mek'leth, which he'd shown earlier as he offers it to Kantos. Quebec looks at it and then sort of nods and turns back to take a mek'leth off one of her followers. By whatever means, Mehed has at least made sure that you have the optimum choice. Mehed will then use his voice. Considering the circumstances, this will be a fight to first blood. Quebec. I do not need the headache of the muling of Starfleet if I maim or kill one of their officers for this. However, you will, if you are to be Arbiter, do us dignity of demonstrating that you have some concept of a Klingon heart. You agree, Arbiter?
I agree.
The head nods. You may begin. And he steps back as the circle has opened up in the traditional fight, fight, fight attitude as the two face off. So, this is going to be 2 first consequence.
Okay.
We are, however, going to open up with a notice for who gets to go first.
Hey! Roll initiative.
Yeah.
Ooh. Ooh. -1.
She got a flat 0. She didn't roll very well either. But
She rolled better than a -1 though.
so you two circle each other, as is again the standard part of any Klingon fight.
Oh, yeah.
As she's clearly doing a lot of eyeballing, etc., and then comes in with a quick jab, evidently to try to test Kantos's defenses. And let's make an opposed fight check.
Better. +2.
Okay. She gets a 4 as the blade comes sweeping in. So that is a 2-shift success by her. I would recommend, and you spend a stress, utilize a stress point.
Maybe
for the stress box.
Yep, I'm intending to use that on my stress boxes.
Then, as she comes in with a quick jab, it is a light kind of, well, it catches a bit of the uniform. As
Actually, it's kind of like Cantos now has a Kirk-like rip in the shirt.
A bit of a slice, and she is fast. She has done the thing of eyeballing, being slow, and then very suddenly coming in with a strike. It is your go.
So yeah, Cantos, as they get hit with that, as they're trying to dodge out of the way of it, that they'll kind of hiss a bit as so it catches them faster than I thought you might be, Quebec. And then they're going to try and kind of do basically quite a similar thing, a similar move of a quick kind of dart towards, but also kind of past Quebec.
Yep.
So kind of Campus is mostly going to be relying on being fast on their feet in this fight because they ain't got the raw strength of a Klingon warrior.
Be an opposed fight check.
That wasn't great dice. Do I want to re-roll that?
She got a 1 for visibility. She did not roll very well at all.
Cantus is sitting on a -1, so I can at least equal that. Remind me how equaling works.
If you equal that, you will gain a free boost in fight against her, aka another free in any kind of fight in any kind of fight action against her until you use it. You will get a free reroll or free +2 for ensuing checks, which you can use for attack or defense.
Yeah, that I might go with then.
Okay, so you've got to spend a fate point.
You've got to spend a fate point to do it.
Although arguably you're spending a fate point to just be able to get to achieve the exact same thing you could achieve with your fate point.
That's true. That's true. But on the other hand, this gets me.
It does mean that you get a bit more of a successful hit. Which, it's
exactly,
not a hit. It is not a stress hit to her, but it is.
But it makes this move more successful,
yes,
and then also makes a potential later thing more successful. So
yes.
I think it is better still.
You're
than
buying
just
a better opening gambit.
Yes, exactly.
Okay,
so I will do
tagging?
that. Which one of these is going to be the first one to tag? I think at this point, life is short, let it never be dull is probably the best one because the other ones can be saved for later, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty. Oh, your fight rolls have been pretty garbage so far.
Yeah, the dice have not been kind. So yeah, with that -3 with the +2 fight skill,
it's a match. So
dice, it's a match. So
I'm just going to note down that you have boost.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
and you
like
come,
the way that goes in my head now is like, so kind of does that kind of like almost dancing in
Mhm.
to strike at Quebec. She gets out of the way and they kind of just catch her uniform.
Mhm. Yeah, it would,
So
no
there's
matter
no
what, be a kind of fairly harmless cling, but it forces her back more than
Yeah.
she would have expected. It is more of just a scrape of even like the flat of the blade against the edge of the
Of her
armor.
armor or something
But
like that.
she gets free of it, but
Mhm.
she clearly has had to move faster than she anticipated to get out of the way of it, and that
Mhm.
does that shifts the tone in the crowd.
Mhm.
From Talandra's perspective, becomes aware that, like a little bit behind her towards the hall, at the doorway, Ratek is watching and not saying anything, watching from a distance.
Talandra is aware of her.
Yeah. Kvex go. Opposed fight checks. Oh.
Well, better roll.
Okay.
That's better. +5.
Okay. She got a 5 as well. She has a really good fight score. Yes, so that's a match success. Which I'm not gonna spend anything on. But it will be, she gets a boost as well.
Yeah. Can I use that boost for just a +2, or is it
You
just
can
a
use it. Yeah,
reroll?
you can use it for +2. So
So
if you use that,
it's
then she
basically a
misses
free critical.
completely. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'll save that for being on the when I'm
Cool.
on the attack. Actually,
Yeah.
I'll let her have the boost for this.
Yeah, she comes in, your blade lock for a moment at this, and she used it to push Kantos back, getting a little bit more of the upper hand of dominating the space. But there've been a good few exchange of blows. While she has landed more of a hit, it's not like an immediate slam dunk. Kantos is go.
Hey. Oh dear. Oh, that's okay. That is a +6 on the fight roll.
She got a 5 again.
I think I'm gonna bring the +2 in as well.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Yeah, you can do that to win by more shifts.
Yeah. Because it's the first
Yeah.
consequence. I think I'm going to
It's
take
first
advantage
consequence. She will only take a stress from it, but she will take a stress from it.
Oh, just a stress? I thought it would be.
She will
3.
fill one of her stress boxes. Remember, you don't fill. They're not progressive. You have
so I should just fill one of my stress boxes from this.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
you have. Let me see. You have 1, 2. You have
4. I've got 4 stress boxes, so I should have just filled
4.
1 in from. Yeah.
Oh Christ! No, you
Kantos
have.
has points of physique.
You only have 3, so the 4 is in italics. Am I right?
Oh, it is. Yes.
Wait. Yeah, there shouldn't be. For some reason, you have a box in there. No, the way stress boxes, you have 3. However, the way the stress boxes work is it is not like acute. It is not one stress box, 2 stress boxes, 3 stress box. It is a strength. You have one strength stress box, which can take 1 shift's worth of damage. 1 2 shift stress box, which can take 2 shifts worth, or 1 3. So if you took, say, a 3 shift points of damage, you could either fill just the 3. Or you could fill the 1 and the 2. Yeah,
Gotcha. So I should have filled in just the 2 box.
Just the 2 box, but you can still, if you take a 1 shift. But now if you take a 2, you have to fill the 3 or take a consequence. But yeah, you force her to fill.
Yeah, in that case, if that's how it goes, I'll still do that because then I've filled up the bigger one. Well, I can.
Yes, you fill up a bigger one. And you use your boost. Okay, yeah. Yeah, you've blocked. She's pushed it back, and Kantos is able to, on the pullback, like land an elbow in the good old Starfleet elbow, which does a good solid hit to knock her right off balance. These are still stress, so they're not actual injuries. They are just the roughing up that one takes, which leaves one open. But that does leave her stagger for a moment before she gives a angry hiss, and comes straight back for Kantos in more of a bull rush.
Oh, I was hoping there would just be a little bit of time after the hiss for Candace to kind of like make eye contact, do that. An almost flirty quirk of the eyebrow.
Okay, you do that. She's still his. Seems pretty pissed.
I'm not expecting her to change her reaction. Just wanted to get that in.
Sure, you can do that. Definitely angry.
If anything, to wind her up.
More angry, yes. Making a post-fight check. Jesus Christ.
Ooh, 0.
Okay, she gets a 5. I have been rolling like only within like the 1s and 2s of her skills for most of this, but yeah, she gets a 5.
Oh dear. Okay. I'm probably gonna tag something so I don't have to fill everything out and immediately lose.
Yeah, I think that would be an immediate.
It would be because that's
lose for you.
because I've got effectively 4 points worth of stress left.
Yes. And you still have to take a consequence. So yeah, you're probably going to want to try to re-roll that.
Yeah, I am.
What are you tagging?
I think with this one.
Oh my god, you could tag after what you did. It's amazing how far
you can get on a smile.
Because you did the flirt thing.
Because I did the flirt thing.
You to use that in that it basically made her. It irritated her enough that she kind of over.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. However, she still comes like right in with a swipe. The swipe is what Kantos manages to get away from, but then he is fucking shoulder checked by her.
Yeah, but like I'm still gonna roll to see how much damage is done to you.
No, that's it. You did, yeah, sorry, reroll. Yes, of course.
Yeah,
yes,
the reroll, which is
sorry.
Yeah. It might be worse. It isn't. +4 now.
Okay. So yes, so that was a 5. So yes, you have to fill in your 1 stress.
That's fine.
That's good. As they get shoulder checked by her to, plow in and send Kantos staggering back. Their turn.
Okay, so I've just been knocked flying.
Mm-hmm.
Come back in and basically just try and like take advantage of the fact that she's just come at me and just kind of shoulder barged me.
Mm-hmm.
There's probably a way that I can kind of get round her almost.
Yeah, you can if you sort of roll with her because it was only a 1 stress, it wasn't that bad. But
yeah, exactly. So kind of like basically kind of roll with the hit.
Yeah.
To get to a position that she's basically not expecting me to be in. +3.
She gets a 3 as well.
I'll take that.
As you get a boost. Yeah, she's not going to spend her boost to negate you getting a boost. She could do that later if she really wants to. Yeah, comes in. This is like you don't really get an opportunity to. I think basically she'll end up pinwheeling away from Kantos in a way which basically gets you both a bit more distant from each other, and she frankly loses a lot of the momentum she had from the charge. Before she'll come around for takes up her guard a bit more disciplined this time before coming at Kantos, and her next set of blows is trying to challenge them on actual like sword work instead of the brute force, as she seems to have gone, well, they're Starfleet, they probably aren't as skilled in hand to hand with a mek'leth.
Yep.
God.
6.
Okay, she's going to use her boost to re-roll because one of these days she's going to roll something which isn't between a -1 or a 2. And she's going to critically hit.
Oh, how far? What does that actually put her on in terms of like the number?
9.
Christ. I think I'm gonna break that boost that I just got. Oh no, because it's still, no matter what I take it on, I've still got to fill in the 3 stress box.
Yeah. You would have to. What did
So
you
I'd
roll?
just be reducing a 3 down to a 1,
What
which
did...
there's not much point me spending the boost on.
Yes, you would still. You run out of stress.
Yeah.
You'll run out of stress at this point.
Yeah.
For it.
But yeah, I'm on +6 at the minute, so the difference is still just the 3 though.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yeah, there's no gain. There's no gain.
There's
in using
there's
the
nothing
boost.
to be gained from me using the boost. I'm gonna leave that.
But she used up her boost to get that.
And I've still got mine.
Yes. Yeah, so this is pretty rough. Like, her intention was to overwhelm Kantos with technical skill as well as strength, and she is doing that at this point. It is a back and forth. Kantos is losing ground, getting very ground down by this, because this is also just, they have to pretty much deflect every blow. They can't meet her for strength, and they are giving ground at this point. She is succeeding in actively dominating this section of the back and forth and the fight. Yeah, it's from an onlooker, this is looking pretty bad for Kantos at this point. Not from them about to be in mortal danger, but in a they are outclassed.
Yep.
It's probably worth noting, Talandra has the cup of tea that she had, and she has basically been holding it in front of her, like she's not taken a sip for a while, because like there's no point compelling anything, because like she's not doing anything that could risk compelling. But one of her traits is hardcore pacifism, and like this is like we don't really do mental stress boxes in this, but I think she's doing whatever the equivalent is of going, no, don't step in. No, don't step in.
Especially as at this point the warriors of Quebec are chanting. I should like, from the crowd's perspective, there is chanting from them. They are chanting her name. It is adding to this visceral impact of this violence.
Just so you know, Kath, if Kantos goes down, like not even goes down, like gets knocked out, like if Kantos hits the dirt, and she doesn't pull back, Talandra is going to step in.
Okay.
Like, she is literally counting in her head to decide whether or not she should step in.
Okay. Kantos' go.
Okay, so Kantos has been forced back by this flurry of blows. They are going to try and they cannot match her strength. They're gonna have to stick with their tactic of like running on, like deflecting, moving out of the way. So kind of, when you're watching a film and something starts rolling towards the protagonist and they just run in a straight line and you're yelling, just run to the side. Kantos is doing the running to the side.
Yeah, basically break the pattern. Yeah.
Yeah, because she's presumably got quite a lot of momentum in one direction, so break out of that and round.
Okay, yep. Right, go for it. Oh my God, woman.
0 on the dice, so +2.
That is a 2-shift success. Right, for you.
For me?
Yeah, for you.
Oh wow.
She rolled garbage.
Okay, fair enough. I'll take that.
Okay, yeah. As you
I'll
break
keep
off
that boost for later.
Yeah, she rolled hot garbage.
Wow, I was expecting to need to use the boost on that.
No, she rolled hot garbage and has used her boost. And I as a GM have fate points. I've not pulled them out yet. But yeah, Kantos, as this is coming on, there's the hype of the crowd, the chanting Quebec, Quebec, Quebec. And Kantos, however, manages to, at the next one, get a really good twist of the blade, and deflect the next one, throw themselves to the side, get in a good kick for good measure.
A kick to the knee, I think.
Yeah, a good kick to the knee, which stumbles and breaks Quebec's momentum and gives Kantos some badly needed breathing space, but that does hush the crowd a bit. However, she comes around and throws herself, like clearly probably trying to capitalize on tiring Kantos more at this stage. Another opposed fight.
Kantos' internal monologue. This is not how I imagined a Klingon throwing themselves at me. 3.
She gets a 4. No, sorry, she gets a 5. Sorry, she got a +1. Yeah, she got a 5.
Boost.
You can use your boost to match it, which will give her a boost in turn, but does not take you yet out of the fight.
That's all it is.
Yeah, she comes at you. Kantos is mostly at this point trying to just get away a bit more and keep the space and not get locked up into another one of these back and forths.
Yeah.
So trying to not get locked down. Kantos, your go.
Okay. I think again it's about kind of breaking that momentum and trying to kind of, as she's starting to try and get into a rhythm again, break that rhythm so she can't get going. Because if she gets going, I'm screwed. Thanks, dice. 0.
She gets a 4. And you're coming at her, but she's keeping.
I might. I'm tempted to try for a re-roll just because I've still got a fate point.
1 fate point left.
I do have 1 fate point left. I might as well go for the re-roll.
Literally might as well. Like, what you got to lose?
The fight.
Yeah, but like, you'll lose the fight anyway.
Yeah, cool. So I think
re-roll.
I think we're going for a re-roll and evoking. Yeah, we'll evoke this one because I've not ever actually invoked this as Kantos. Time and a place for the book, somewhere else and not now.
Yeah, this is not the Starfleet Protocol handbook.
We're well past Starfleet Protocol handbook, so yeah, what they're going to try and go for, it's almost a kind of like drop to the ground and go almost kind of like past underneath sort of maneuver.
Yeah. Try to get around behind. Good
Yeah,
combat roll. Yeah. Hit that
basically
dodge,
a combat
double tap dodge to roll.
somewhere between a combat roll and a combat slide.
Yes.
That'd be better. That's exactly the same.
Dicks. Yeah.
So it's still just the +3.
you double tap dodge, but you hit the wrong way on the controller, so Kantos just sort of backflips away.
It's a difficult button combo. Okay?
It is. You're trying to come for her, but she's at this point just not in fact she moves. Kantos tries to redeploy so that they might be able to come at her from the side, but she zigs.
She's
along
kind of
with
got
them.
wise to the fact that Kantos does move around quite a lot in
Yes. So she zigs to meet them, so they haven't really managed to reposition as she tries to come in as they rise back up, and she's there. Make an opposed fight check.
Yeah, that was just on my attack, so I didn't immediately lose. That's fine. Well, this is a perfect way to go out on it.
Oh, dip. Yeah, she got a 5.
Hang on. That does concern me only for their physical integrity and...
Yeah, how much mince am I?
God!
Yeah,
the degrees of consequence matter. You're gonna have to fill several degrees of failure really matter.
What this hot garbage equates to in terms of number is -3.
-3, and she got a 5.
She got +5.
So that's an 8. So you're going to need to take a minor and a major consequence.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
There's no other way around it.
I should very much, considering the position I've already put Talandra in, to effectively get involved.
Okay.
I think it depends what Kvek's reaction is after having done this.
I feel like because of the critical failure, it feels like that was something of an onslaught. I imagine she was doing a couple of strikes.
I had it in my head as one single thing, but however, Kat is the GM.
What the NPC is doing.
I'm just saying.
I get you. I understand. If she is going for a beat down, Talandra would get involved.
Theatre of the mind. I will pay my fate points. Just I'm giving you that situation because I don't want I don't want Cantos to lose their head.
One way or another, Cantos is taking a minor and a major consequence.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to consult the rulebook just to remind myself of the degrees of severity.
What's
for
suitable as a major here?
Yeah, as a major.
Like, I've got a couple of ideas for what I'd like as the minor. But which
Arcady.
God, I hate this fucking rule book and its useless index.
However,
I have never met a rule book that had a good index.
But this one this one is particularly bad.
Is it as bad as Vampire the Masquerade that doesn't even have chapter headings and just calls them things like surprises? And it's like, oh, this is the section on skills and guns, and it's like, oh.
No, but it's got the thing. It's got like consequences. It doesn't even list major consequences. It just says consequences and is listed like 9 separate page entries. Like, and because it doesn't have things like damage in it, because it's a you know exactly what I meant when I said that.
I knew exactly what you meant when you said that.
Okay, that's
Look,
leveling up.
Look, Kath, you and I both love Fate. It's a system we both enjoy, which means that we both understand that Fate sometimes can be bloody garbage.
I mean, I don't love Fate. I just know Fate.
You know Fate very well, and you run very good Fate games.
Stress. Resolving attack. Stress. No, I want too much stress. I just want consequences. Nearly. Okay, well, an example here of severe.
Look, all I'm saying is, no matter what happens, Talandra is taking some mental stress from this situation because that was heinous. She did not care for that.
Yeah. Okay.
That cup's getting broken.
Naming a consequence. Here we go. Oh, severe consequences go straight to the emergency room. Okay. I think what happens is basically Kvek has been sort of ready to anticipate Cantos rolling up. In fact, actually, I'll describe and then we'll do numbers. Descriptors. Kvek was clearly anticipating Cantos coming up from the roll and moved to anticipate it to bring the Mek'leth down. And Cantos kind of
get up into
actually
the sword.
has that very ungraceful rise from it, and I mean, it all happens really quickly, but what could have been a nasty blow becomes a vicious blow as the blade chunks into, that's a technical term, into Cantos's shoulder. It doesn't embed at least, but it gets in and then kind of rakes down. Before at least coming free. So I'm going to say the mild one. The severe consequence, the major consequence is I need a way of just hacked in the shoulder is what's happened.
They've been kind of massively kind of ripped open from about here to about here, I want to say.
Yeah, it is a very nasty, solid impact from a blade.
It's the classic anime blow that in an anime would then explode in blood.
It's just, just shoulder wound would suffice. You don't need to have to be, if you can come up with something woofier for it, then great. The minor is bruised ankle because of how you got up.
I was going to go with bruised knee.
Bruised knee, yes. It is an injury literally from how either from Cantos going down or from why Cantos' getting up was just so bad. Because seriously, examples of mild consequences are black eye, bruised hand, winded, flustered, cranky.
The idea I had was that there was also some kind of blow across about here, which is a dashing scar later. But no, that sounds like that's too much for a minor.
No, it could be because it's minor enough. It would be from her braces of her armor. Or probably actually no, from the we'll make it from the pull back of the blade as she hacks and then brings it back, and the kind of, because they've got it's not really a hilt on the Mek'leth, it's like a secondary bit, and as she comes in with the blow.
Different suggestion as Cantos is starting the kind of the overly complicated maneuver that they fucked up the button combo for. She kind of goes in with a punch to their face, and then that's what causes like the cut on their face,
Mhm.
and then
Okay.
and then that's probably also kind of leads into
There
them
we go.
fucking
That
up
works.
the maneuver.
Yes. So
and
she,
because they're kind of reeling a bit from having been punched in the
yes,
face
rather than
with
just
something
bad luck,
slightly sharp.
rather than just bad luck, it is a full-on. They go to dodge. Kantos, Kvek has got in close enough to do a vicious, probably a backhand for just angle.
Yeah, a backhand's good.
Probably a backhand as they roll, and then their roll isn't great, and as they come up, Kvek has managed to keep pace, and
then
and has brought the blade down. So like Kantos collapses back as Kvek brings up this with a bit of not a full spray, not an arterial spray of blood.
No.
But
like, there's going to be
dramatic.
some blood is going to dramatically drip off the Mek'leth as she pulls it out.
Exactly, that kind of a spray. As
it's a bit of dramatic splatter
Mek'leth
across the
comes
floor,
back.
artful splatter across the floor.
And there is a hush at that of like that very suddenly this fight. I mean, she was doing pretty well for herself, but very suddenly this fight has taken a turn. Kvek will not freeze. Freeze is the wrong word, but she does not. She is paused, is I suppose the better description for it, as she pulls the blade back and is taking stock of the situation, blade raised while Kantos collapses.
It's on the floor.
There is a beat, and Kvek will step back.
Okay. I think as Kvek is stepping back, then like Kantos is flat on the floor, hand clutched to their bleeding shoulder, and so and they're also out of breath, and that will kind of gasp for breath, and then kind of go, "Enough fire for you, Kvek?"
There is a big old. Well, actually, no. Her warriors are not yet giving up. Any cheer. There is clearly eyes are on her, which she lowers the blade, looks up, kind of both towards Mehed and Talandra, and goes, "You should get your arbiter to a healer." And turns as she says that and turns. There is a roar from. Whilst there is a roar from the Klingons, it is no longer as there is less animosity than there had been. They are satisfied. They are happy at their winner, at Kvek, the horse they've backed. But there is not that bristling wall of Klingonness. They are satisfied by this. It's a happy, victorious roar. As Kvek turns, Mek'leth dripping blood, and walks away.
She walks away. Like, Kantos probably kind of like raise their head a bit up to get that line out, and then it's just goes. And then flumps back on the ground,
back, clutching your bleeding shoulder.
Oh god, that hurt.
Likely flumps back into Talandra's grasp, who is there, barely waited for Kvek to turn away, and then is already there and is already probably administering the first aid that she's had on her, and has been there going, When can I heal him? When can I heal her?
The hedge will move in as well, to assist in supporting Kantos, and will say, "Would you want to bring them to your sickbay?"
Please.
I will point out you would actually be able to very easily do a site-to-site transport from the Iskandar, because you are not beaming through the atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, with my head being it's cool. You can tap out now. There's no no concerns. You can.
I want to tap out.
Since I know I can do that, Talandra will almost certainly just orchestrate that.
Yes.
Before they go, though, she's going to look up at where Ratek was standing.
Ratek has at some point walked away.
Mm-hmm. Then for the scene, it's Talandra looking up, an unreadable expression on her face. And then,
Unspool the lights. However, because I will give you this because we're probably not going to get a chance to elaborate on that tonight. But I will say, but by scoring 2 stresses against her, not even just 1, you got the good ending. Got the didn't go down like a punk ass bitch.
Give her enough of a fight, then chill.
You did really fucking well, actually. She was a fucking powerhouse. Kantos kicked ass against a serious combat wombat.
Went up against Klingon warrior, didn't immediately die.
Die and made her have to get a bit out of breath.
I'm just really sorry that your commanding officer in the situation is going to leave you in sick bay and then go back to the office and you're not even going to get a well done, because she's like, I'm gonna go and do whatever the equivalent of crying in the bath is for a Vulcan.
Oh, good, and good news. We'll worry about the rest of this later, but don't worry, Kantos. You can wipe all of your stress away because the fight's over. The scene is over.
Shame about them consequences.
Yeah, we'll worry about those. Thankfully, we can worry about that later.
Yeah, you haven't quite ticked off the major consequence of Arcady's gonna be very cross with you.
Yes. In which case we will definitely not move back to the relief station, as I think that's a next session thing.
But we're going on a fun lads trip.
Yeah, fun lads trip is going to be interrupted, but we will move back to Team Science for our final scene. Back at probably back on the Iskandar. Actually, I would expect would be the place you'll go with the sample into the science lab. And in fact, make me a quick science check, Casey, to gauge how much progress, etc. has been made. 6. Jesus fucking Christ. Okay.
Science boy did a science.
He punches that science.
You can return to the science lab. Luth still looks kind of
science, very boy.
Quiet and thoughtful and broody as his standard want. And Luth will say, I can begin comparing the samples if you observe the genetic sequencing, I suppose.
Of course, yes.
Mm-hmm. And he goes to sort of pile up the different samples now that you actually have them from all the different regions of where you suspected the Turknon had come about. And there's a peaceable atmosphere of work. Luth will occasionally talk a bit aloud, but he seems to talk slightly more to Strange about I've noticed this. Oh, I've noticed this. And it's, he's a fun guy right now. But
honestly, Strange probably looks quite comfortable with that.
Mm-hmm.
With that kind of working away, and then occasionally sudden Klingon guns pipes up with things that he's noticed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Strange looks possibly more comfortable than Casey might have expected from that.
Mm-hmm. And Luth will comment. Also, I have one more sample I want to run a quick scan of, if I may just utilize. I will explain if something comes of it.
Of course.
And he goes to take another sample out, which you hadn't seen him take. However, at this point, Casey, reading through the full genetic sequencing to understand the fucking genetic levels of this damn mycelium. However, now...
Does it form a network?
No, it doesn't. It has nothing to do with that shit. I say that shit. I don't have a strong opinion on it. It's no dumber than anything else in Star Trek. There's a lot of dumb shit in Star Trek.
It's dumb, but Star Trek.
Yes. However, something will catch Casey's eye specifically as he's looking at this fungus on a genetic level. So what this can allow him to do is basically observe the roots of the hyphae to be able to ascertain any mutations, any mutational developments, or at least what a previous mutation strain might have been. What he will notice is that on the one moment, whilst you have kind of tracing it back, on the one point you have on a genetic level the currents, the Macmich, as Luth called it, and then very suddenly, right at the root, a similar but completely different genetically fungal present on a genetic level. I.e., rather than something going through a process, it is still familiarly related, but one jump to another. And the only explanation Casey can have for that is that this has been artificially created out of something else.
Shit. Luth. I need your opinion on this.
Is it pressing?
More pressing than anything that's happened here today.
Curious. He steps over.
He'll kind of bring up the side by side of the two fungal entities.
It's like bad science my way through this. He frowns, and already Casey will have been like checking this against the database still. Because there's only one explanation for this.
This was artificially tampered with.
And as Casey is tapping it up, there is a ping, like, match found, as a like inset of a database entry comes up for what has been found as a similar nasty ass fungus referred to as the Vondem strain, which was recorded like 7 years ago in Orion's space. Blah 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 blah. There's no like immediate standout things other than this is probably what it was originated from.
Someone created this.
Someone has attacked this world. I thought I was about to tell you that actually, no, this isn't the most important thing that's happened today. But he goes back to his sample, the one he'd been studying, and pulls it out. I had observed at Lemus that some of the crops had been afflicted and died. Some of the crops had not been afflicted, and some crops were ailing, but I could not find on them any trace of the Macmich, and they were not yet dead. And then I found, and he pulls out his little sample thing of the Gurwa, the big fuck off bee. This. I think the Gurwa has been eating the mycelium. Whilst this is not an insight onto who has attacked and targeted Hatoria, these pests, well, they aren't pests at all, I shouldn't call them pests in an agricultural sense. These may be the answer.
Deploy the cure.
And on that note, the note of the Gurwa, which was offered from our moderate help from our Aeon Score Hyperion, I am gonna call it there for tonight. So thank you very much, folks. This has been some good fun. We've had some drama. We've had some fighty fight. We've had some science. Forgive me for my science, people. I'm not a scientist. I am afraid to tell you that we are going to have another hiatus. We will be off next week and back the week after because, I've been around the sun one more time, and assuming we're allowed into the outside world, the apocalypse could happen again and we might be on. But assuming that the worst doesn't happen, I will be out being fed delicious food for my birthday. So
basically, someone is getting out of having us all sing our happy birthday.
It's true.
No,
so we'll have to do it the week after. Don't worry.
There's no getting out of that.
Oh god, I ran on my birthday last year.
Yeah, you ran for me on my birthday this year.
I did.
It was good. It was great.
We sang.
Yeah.
So yes.
Do not worry though. Next week, I will give ample warning to anyone before Happy Birthday is sung, because I know some people don't want to hear the discordant nightmare that is all of us singing at once. And I don't care if one of those people is Kath. I don't care.
Yes, fair. Oh, the bee is dead by now. That's dead bee. But he still brought his bee sample with him.
Yeah.
Just so you know. So
why?
Yes.
Wait, no. Why was that a note you had to insist on that the bee was dead?
It was comment in chat. People were asking if the bee was dead.
Chat
people asked, Michael.
Sorry, I thought Kath was just apropos of nothing. Because by the way,
By the
that
way,
bee's
dead.
dead.
Wait, bee's dead.
Yeah, I didn't think about it. I didn't care about the state of the bee, but chat cared about the state of the bee.
Here's the thing I love is that Hyperion did this cool, the moderate help, which meant a whole bunch of stuff towards, the plot and stuff. But also, the moderate help made Lust look real cool, because Lust got to be like, I am science ninja. And I'm like, yeah. That's
oh shit, we don't
that's
him.
That's a sexy Klingon.
The moderate help came with a much more interesting idea for the cure, basically.
And the cure is bees.
Yeah,
0% of the trash GMs are too proud to go, oh no, your idea's better. Cool.
Yeah. It made me have to Google bees and fungus, and I found out that bees eat it.
That's what you were Googling.
Yeah, which I didn't know, because I don't know shit about this plot I'm running.
Star Trek!
I mean, yeah.
So far as I'm concerned, this highly sophisticated technology can look at this fungus on a genetic level and ascertain that there's been somewhere a leap in its mutation. That's all you need to know with the science magic on. I'm not sure what a hyphae is, but I know it's a genetic thing.
Uh-huh.
Or maybe it's
not
not
that kind of science. I don't know.
I think it might be actually just the root of the fungus.
Remember, what do you mean?
I wrote this down somewhere, but I didn't read this in detail before I gave you that scene. So whatever.
Remember, what do you mean? If we were in a movie, you're our scientist. You'd have to go, I figured it out. And we'd be
yes, they're the wiggly fungal bits. Thank you, chat.
It moves. I don't deal with it. I deal with making things not move.
I read it once as I hit Wikipedia to plan this session. Hey, fate, thank you. Right, I am done, so I'll pass this over to talk us out to Izzy.
What up, everyone? It's me. It's your boy. How are you all doing? I hope you've had a good week. Just look after yourselves. This has been nice hanging out with all of y'all. Just have a good one. I took my painkillers at the break, so my brain is now
afraid at the start of this session when you and Emily stared at each other and didn't say anything for a good chunk. I was like, are these two just suddenly stoned from their various painkillers? Is this the energy that I'm bringing to part B? Okay, is that it? Are we gonna talk us out, or are you?
No, I can do it. Okay. I'm great. I can drive. Give me my keys. I don't have a car. But before I play us out, do recall that at the end of June, we, the At You Trash crew, are going to be having a charity streamathon, an all-day gaming marathon to raise money for relief efforts in Gaza. There are people who've signed up to GM. There are people who've signed up to play. It's going to be an exciting day. Looking at the people who've got signed up to GM so far, there's going to be a lot of new faces and a lot of cool indie games that are going to be very exciting. So we'd love for you to show up on the day and watch or sign up. The link to sign up is the pinned tweet on our Twitter tweet at itucrew. And more information can be found on Discord. Quiet! Don't judge me, Kath. I'm making it happen. Apart from that, watch this space for more information. It's going to be great. Or don't. I'm not your supervisor. But that being said, let us get well hype and excited in the chat for our lovely patrons who support us in our endeavours and allow us to, go to the pub when we bunk off games. That's not true. I haven't been to the pub in so long. I remember the pub. It was loud and sticky. But kindly, everyone, get your trash bags at the ready. Your trash bags, your love hearts, your appropriate gestures. For we have this week a new trash patron. So, before I hammer on with the list of people that we must give endless thanks and love to, a special Trash and Iskandar crew welcome to Charity Wars Gaming. Charity Wars Gaming. I need to get a... Thing is, I need to get a real horn. That would be really obnoxious. The only thing I want to do is just do this.
Is be better at doing that sound with your mouth.
Are you saying I'm not good at doing that sound?
Went, you didn't even have the beat correct. Imagine if that's what Kowalski and Burov were doing. Anyway.
They do sometimes. I think Kowalski and I want the Kowalski and Burov side adventure. Where's my side adventure for Kowalski and Burov? So lots of love. Thank you for joining us, Charity Wars Gaming. You're great. You're good. Unless you turn a bit asshole, in which case I disavow everything I said. But I have no reason to think that. You seem great. Thanks for your support. And love, of course, to these fine fettled individuals: Dinkledore, the armchair Egyptologist; Ken Poyner, Kiwi Tokoeka, Photosynthetic; Eligos Alexander, Liz Murphy, Michael Krees, Andrei Cherbnin, to whom we also give thanks for a moderate amount of bee help today.
Thanks for the bees!
Thanks for the bees.
Joe, Lou Sutcliffe, Araloki, Socky, Henry Prestige, Caffeine Kitty, Hobbs 138, Mike Kilburn, James Muffy Malloy, Mike Fielding, Michael Bowman, and of course everybody's favouritely named member of the Trash Crew, the one, the only, Helena Handbasket. My knuckle just clacked quite loudly. I apologise for that, but much love from us. Tune in a fortnight and also watch the various spaces for updates on what we do. And I love you. Don't you go changing.
Bye.